I am Keisha, candidly Coach K. Simmons, and I am thrilled to have you join me for Queen Talk. This space was created to have candid conversations with other queens about daily battles we all faced amidst of keeping our crowns straight. Whether it's motherhood, entrepreneurship, self-care, singleness, or even overcoming abuse, we are discussing it all. There's no topic off of the table. So be sure, before we get started, to go ahead and click that share button. And then come back and get ready, get ready, get ready. As we collaborate and listen, come together to have great Queen Talk.
Hey, 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 hey. Hey, I'm back.
Hey.
I'm ready. Oh my gosh. So, I'm going to give a few moments to let everybody join back in because I had a lot of people that were on during Teen Talk, and I know they're going to come back for Queen Talk because this is going to be some good stuff.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and put your website in here. And then I'm also going to share for the book. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I see y'all joining. I appreciate you.
I started to put my crown on, but
Listen, I had to go. I had to go and fix my face real fast. I realized I had jumped on Teen Talk and did absolutely nothing to
oh
my
man.
face, and I'm like, okay. We just gonna roll with it. I'm so happy to have you here, Marissa. This is gonna be some good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, yes, thank you for joining. Hey, 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 Peppa, how you doing, girl? Thank you for joining. Hey, Jackie, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, ladies over here on YouTube as well. I see you, and I appreciate you. This is gonna be a good one. I'm telling you already. So y'all better get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Listen, okay. Just so you know, this is Queen Talk. This is the second week of Queen Talk. As you all know, I introduced it last week because number one, you all were asking for it. That was the real reason for me actually starting this. And just like I have the show for teens to discuss teen issues, this is for us queens. We switch over from the water to the wine. You know how Jesus did. So we can actually have candid conversations about things that are going on in our lives. And there are no topics off the table. So whether we are talking about overcoming abuse, being mommypreneurs, to writing our own books and encouraging the world around us, there's no topic that we will not discuss. And we have an amazing lineup, not just the weeks to come, but I am so excited to have Miss Marissa join us today, who's a new author. Her book is called Finding Her. And before I go into more details about her, I'm going to give her the opportunity to share a little bit more about her, how you can connect with her, and where you can purchase her book. All right, Marissa, let's go.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Marissa McKinnis, and yes, I am a new author. I just authored my first book called Finding Her: Rediscovering the Beauty of Your Reflection.
Yes.
I am a mompreneur. Mom is my biggest, most greatest, most precious accomplishment. I have the most beautiful four children in the world. Hi, babies. I'm also an advocate for all things health. I'm an advocate for all things women and self empowerment. I'm a blogger, a new blogger. Actually, I just started a blog called Finding Her Reflection. Um, and what else about me? I'm genuine. I'm just me. I love
Yes.
life. Live life live, laugh, love. That's my mantra. If you ever want to learn about the endeavors and the things that I have going on, oh, I forgot to mention, I have a nonprofit organization called the Put Away Cancer Foundation
Yes.
that I in for my sister's battle with cancer. So that's also who I am as a mompreneur. And so I have,
I'm
if you want to
putting
get,
that in there too.
she said they can only see half of my face.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now. Uh-huh. So put your camera, go down a little bit.
Go down.
There we go. Yeah.
That better?
I'm paying attention to people. Yes. Okay, let's go down just a smidge more. Can you do a
Okay.
smidge more? Are we
Is
good,
that
y'all? Hold on. Yeah. Okay, we're good now.
it's
Yes,
important?
because you have to see her mouth, y'all. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So,
Let me real quick. If you want to get a hold of me, you can go
yes.
to findingherreflection.com.
Mm-hmm.
Findingherreflection.com is where you can purchase my book, and that's also my blog site. And there's also a link for my nonprofit, Put Away Cancer. So, Put Away Cancer, my blog, and my book is all on that Finding Her Reflection. Or you can go to www.putawaycancer.org. Put is with two T's,
Yeah.
to learn specifically about my organization.
Yes, and I just put both of those links in there, you guys. So you can definitely just click on them from the comments. I have findingherreflection.com as well as putawaycancer.org. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Now we're all good. They're giving me thumbs up. Okay, good. Now let's really get the show started.
All right.
So, she has this amazing book called Finding Her. And of course, we're going to talk about finding her today. So, Marissa, when we think about not just the book, but your life,
Mm-hmm.
what does it mean for you to rediscover the beauty of your reflection?
Well, basically, I think what it is to get back to that place we used to be when we were little girls. You know, when we would play dress up in the mirror and we'll look at our moms and we'll dote over them, or TV and women, you know, that we thought was beautiful and we dreamed, okay? We were not afraid to be us. We were unapologetic about who we were. So it's to tap back into that innocence and that ability to be able to accept ourselves for who we are, but yet still be able to look back and say, oh, I admire her. Oh, I admire her. Because we don't have jealousy. We don't have animosity. All we have is pure and unadulterated love for just being who we are inside and appreciating the beauty and the love of other people. So I think that
Yes.
rediscovering your beauty is doing that, being able to appreciate others as well as your own, because you're not judging, you're not competing for anything.
Right. I love, 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 love that. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Jackie. Thank you all for joining. Miss Moody, hey, girl. I see people waving, so I got to say hi to them in the or I'll forget. Okay. So I love that. You know, it's interesting. You said, you know, when we were young girls and we would play dress up, I'd be like, I wasn't one of them chicks. I was on the football field.
It
but
was unapologetically you.
But exactly, being unapologetically you. That's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing. And I love, love, love that. So let's go into a little bit of the book. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There is a part in your book, and I don't want to read her whole book to you all because you need to go and purchase it because, number one, it's completely phenomenal. If I haven't let you all know that. But I want to read one snippet because this part really touched me, if you're okay with that, Marissa.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it says, let me blow it up so I can see because y'all know I don't have my glasses on. Okay. Hurt can cause you to do many things. It can cause you to lose control of yourself. It can control your emotions, make you feel unimportant, think harmful thoughts of yourself, and make you question your worth. Then I'm going to go down a little bit. I love this part that she says. She says, hurt is the master manipulator that can cause a major identity crisis.
Ma'am.
Woo!
Yes, ma'am.
So when we think about that, and you just take the opportunity to reflect over your life, when you examine your own mental and emotional process when it comes to hurt, what have you recognized?
Huh. The master. It is a master manipulator. Hurt people hurt people. When I first heard someone say that, I was like, wow, that was my aha moment. Hurt
Mm-hmm.
people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, first of all, acknowledge that you
Mm-hmm.
are experiencing some type of pain,
Mm-hmm.
then you can never get to a place where you overcome that pain.
Come on.
So hurt to me is it's the master manipulator. It is the caveat for most things, most of the negativity that we bring into our that we worship and I'm sorry, that we usher into our life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's because someone or something happened and we never dealt with that. And so because of that, it causes things to spiral. You
Yeah.
know, we may not respond the best way. We may not receive information the best way. We may not be able to cope the best way because we've never, first of all, acknowledged that hurt.
Yeah. Mm.
Master me hurt is a master manipulator, like I wrote.
You know, I think about, I heard that before, the hurt people, many years ago when I lived in Dallas and I would attend the Potter's House. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember Bishop T.D. Jakes speaking on that and how it was so important for you to actually deal with your issues, the things that you know, experienced in the past, whether it was
Right.
pain or trauma from, you know, your parents or relationships, whatever it is, how important it is for you to deal with it, because you will repeat the behavior unintentionally
That's
simply
right.
because you haven't dealt with that. And
That's
I
right.
remember that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so true." That's why I'm a firm believer in therapy. I don't understand why it's such a stigma in our culture in particular. But listen, mental illness is real,
It's real.
and you need to get help. There's nothing wrong with you seeking the help you need. It's just like if you're overweight and you need to, like, you're dependent on insulin, are you just not going to go get the insulin just because you don't want to go to the doctor?
Right.
Same
You
thing.
got
Just like you take care of your physical, you must take care of your mental. It's necessary. It's so
and,
necessary.
you know, a person that lives in hurt is also a person that lives outside of
Come
forgiveness.
on. Yeah.
Okay? So, in order to be able to truly forgive anyone,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because hurt comes on two ways. It comes when somebody does something to you and maybe you didn't like it, and instead of responding in a way to say, "Hey, that didn't feel good,"
Right.
you walk away and you fester over that. You get angry about it, and it starts messing with you. You know, all kinds of ways. Instead of you coming back and saying, "Hey, you hurt me, and this is how I
Yeah.
felt," give them the opportunity to say, "You know what? I apologize. Please forgive me," and then you
Yeah.
forgive them. You
Yeah.
know, or you being able to forgive somebody yourself because, man, I did something and I know that messed them up. It goes both ways,
Come
and
on.
I ask them for forgiveness because I know I've done something.
Right.
So it works both ways. So if you don't deal with hurt, you're living outside of forgiveness.
Come on. That is a quote right there. If you don't deal with hurt, you are living on the outside of forgiveness.
That's right.
Hello, somebody. I see some little hearts going up. Thank y'all, because this is the truth right here. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Marissa, have there been like a specific pain that you held on longer than you needed to, than that was necessary?
Oh yes. Oh yes. And I talked about that pain in my book.
Give them
You'll
a
have to
taste.
go
Give
get
them a
that book.
taste.
So I wanted to be careful when I wrote my book not to villainize the relationship I had with my ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of hurt. There was a
Right.
lot of anger. There was a lot of issues in that.
Mm-hmm.
But I internalized outside of my children, I internalized a lot of what really happened
Mm.
because I didn't want to be looked at as weak.
Mm.
I didn't want people to say, "Oh, she's stupid. I thought
Come
she was smart."
on.
I didn't want to have that cloud over me where I'm walking around and I'm thinking people are just like, oh my God,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I allowed myself for so many years just to be quiet.
Mm.
I
And
took it
what
and
did that do to you?
right. And I wore that pain like a
Mm-hmm.
jacket,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so I couldn't have another healthy relationship or a healthy relationship at all because I did never dealt with that pain
Mm.
and stuff that went on. So that to me was a time that I had a deep hurt and a deep pain that I didn't deal with. And it caused so many unnecessary things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The result of it is well, I don't know if you're going to ask this later, but the result of it, I can see it in my children. I can
Mm.
see it in their relationships and the way they respond to things.
Mm.
With my,
Mm.
my son, as men, how they respond. And you can just tell the difference. If I
Yeah.
had have done this, maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
If I would have spoken,
Because even when you don't say, our children are such sponges. They pay
oh,
attention. You don't
yeah,
have to say it.
yeah.
They pay attention to your actions.
And it may not be that they do anything per se, it could just be in their
Right.
words,
Right. Mm-hmm.
In their words, you could say, wait a minute,
Right.
yeah, I done something way before that happened.
Yeah.
So as far as conversations and stuff, so living in that hurt and not responding to it properly, it doesn't just affect you. It affects others. And so
Yeah.
that's important to be able to recognize things and say, well, you know what? I need to move a little different
Mm.
because this right here is not it.
Yeah, come on. And that hit something inside of me because I remember the moment that I said, no longer am I going back. I'm not trying again. And it was the moment I knew I was pregnant. Interesting. It was the moment I knew I was pregnant because I went back and forth, back and forth. I allowed the enemy because let's just be real. It's not the person, it's the
Right.
enemy. Know who you're fighting against, okay? But I allowed the enemy to actually guilt me, you
Yeah.
know, make me feel embarrassed or make me feel less than because I wasn't working enough, no matter
Right.
how much it was destroying me.
Mm-hmm.
I allowed the enemy to play with my thoughts and make me think that I still wasn't doing enough. I wasn't
Right.
doing enough. For
Right.
me to speak such great things to other people, and I'm teaching classes at church and I'm teaching, these young women all these different things. But
Sure.
then, come on.
Yeah.
So
I,
I allowed that to run in my head. But I remember when there was no more negotiating with the enemy was the moment I knew I was pregnant because I said, now, devil, he or she that's inside of my body will not. It is not their fault.
yeah.
They didn't ask to be here. But one
Yeah.
thing I know I will not allow to happen is for them to go through unnecessary trauma.
That's
No, not on my
just
watch.
that decision. I got it
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. Um, so I had a discussion with a group of ladies. I had my first motivational talk.
Yes. Celebrate, celebrate.
Great. And so when I was talking to them, one of the things that I brought up is I said, it was the moment when I saw my son at the age of 13 ball up his fist and say,
Mm.
I'm not taking it no more. You've done too much and I'm
Mm-hmm.
through with it.
Mm.
Okay. When that happened, it was like, oh, we got to
Yeah.
go. It's done.
Yeah.
Able to really see how my decision was impacting my children,
Yeah.
and that was enough for me. You
Yeah.
know, that was that moment when I actually saw in the flesh
Yeah.
what it was like.
What it looks
Mhm.
like. And so many times this is some good stuff because you have no idea who you may be helping at this very moment. So I'm completely okay for us having this transparent conversation. But so many times I have actually coached women
Mhm.
who they noticed it because the son then tries to become the protector when it's not his job,
That's
you
right.
know? But he
That's right.
tries to become the protector because he's not gonna let his daddy do
That's right.
this, and now I'm big enough. I feel like I'm big enough. So I'm
Right.
I'm willing to fight for you, mama.
That's
You
right.
know? And that part right there, especially, when we choose as adults to stay in unhealthy relationships,
Yeah,
that has, if nothing else changes you, that right
that's it.
there will. That
That's
right there
right.
will. That's really good, Marissa. Okay, let me go back to my questions. Hey, y'all. Thank you for joining. Hey, Pastor Washington. I love you, boo. Thank you. Okay, along with other people. There's plenty on here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Ladrika. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, Rashad. And the list goes on. Hey, hey, YouTube. I see you too. I have no idea how to pronounce your name, so I'm so sorry, but thank you. Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about the consequences of ignoring red flags, which one of them you kind of brought up when you talk about seeing it in your
Mhm.
children.
Right.
What were some of those life altering red flags you've ignored and the consequences that came with them?
So, some of those life altering consequences are your ability to look at yourself. You
Mm,
internalizing a lot of the things that happen, and you're unable to really look at yourself or accept yourself. And so the reason why, so with this cover of my book, there's a picture of myself and the image is broken. Okay, because the very last part of the book, those broken pieces were when I was in that period where I couldn't stand myself. I didn't
mm,
know who she was.
mm,
And whenever I saw her, I wanted to hide because I saw the pain in her eyes.
mm.
Okay? And so coming back to actually realizing I did, I went through something, yes, but I learned something. What did I learn? How can I make this work for me? How can I, impart this knowledge into other people? And how can I, you know, grow from this experience? That's when I was able to see, okay, um, it wasn't all for naught.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to look at myself. I gained a whole bunch of weight,
Mm-hmm.
but I look good.
Ah,
Um,
still a queen.
I
Yes.
a whole bunch of weight. And I end up losing. And I say this, it doesn't really matter to people, but I had to end up moving my children in my life from Dallas to San Antonio because of my decisions. And I ended up losing $15,000 in income,
Mm-hmm.
which money may not be a lot to some people,
It's
but
still a
when you're used
it's
to a
still a
certain living, a
resource.
lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
it is a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and that was 10 years ago. Think of where I would be today,
Right.
trying to play catch up with that. So I suffered the consequences of, a financial loss, of an emotional and spiritual loss, a weight gain, and, just not being able to love myself the way that I used to love myself,
Mm-hmm.
which meant I couldn't love my children the way that I used to love my children
Mm.
because I was having a problem here.
Right.
So those are some of the consequences of me not being able, and I think that's true for anybody.
Yeah.
It, the if you don't deal with things, if you're not, don't put on your big girl panties and say, hey, okay, I messed up, damn it, let me go back and you know what I'm saying,
Right.
let me work on
Fixed.
this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
fixed it.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then there's so many things that can fall through the crack, and none of them better than the other, and it can take a long time to recover. I'm just grateful
Mm-hmm.
that in the 5 years I've been able to go on an uphill, and God has consistently been healing,
Yeah.
rebuilding, replenishing,
Yeah.
planting, and all that stuff. So it didn't take me, I didn't go crazy, because there
Mm-hmm.
was a point in my life where I think I did kind of
Yeah.
go down the rabbit hole,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't go far enough down to where I got buried there.
Right. Right. You allow God to bring you back up. And
Allow, and
sometimes it takes us hitting that
mhm.
bottom. Sometimes
And it was my
it's
kids.
that. Mm-hmm.
It was my kid. To me, my kids are the ones that saved me.
Mm-hmm.
Because our relationships became tighter,
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter was my baby girl. Mouth Almighty, tongue everlasting. She's not afraid to speak what's on her mind,
Mm-hmm.
and she would just strut out and she'll just tell me, Mom, you need to do this better. Mom, this is
Mm.
not good. Mom,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And then she would always remind me of how much she loved me.
Yeah.
And then my baby boy will always, he has the best hugs in the world. He will always hug me and love me. And that to me was like God putting his arms around me
Yeah.
and know that things were going to be okay.
Yeah. And sometimes God will use your children and it's completely
Yeah.
fine. Like I was
Yeah.
talking to Anaya about, I was like, if Jesus can use a ram in a bush, I don't understand why, he can't use the younger generation. He will use anyone.
He can use
Anyone.
anyone.
Anyone
Anything.
or anything. And it's up
Yes.
to you to actually recognize that that's
Yeah.
him and say, okay, God, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do what I
Mm-hmm.
need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so brave of you, Marissa, to be able to share how it took your children to
Mm-hmm.
actually bring you back. Like, okay, yeah, she told me when I wasn't doing right, or you
Yeah.
can do this better. And instead of, because some parents, like especially when we're not keeping our eyes open to seeing, okay, this is truly God speaking, not my quote unquote child,
Mm-hmm.
can have like a complex about that and don't want to hear it because it's
Mm-hmm.
coming from their child. When, I mean, if you really study your Bible, it can come from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that takes a lot of courage, and I wanted to make sure that I recognize that in you and share that with you, because I truly appreciate that. I truly appreciate that, especially when it
Thank you.
comes from parents. Yes. Okay. All right. Is this some good stuff for you guys? I see hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I truly appreciate you all tuning in. All right. So, Marissa, we've talked about some of the pain. We've talked about, going down the deep parts, and the journey that it took for you to like see, okay, I'm not where I need to be. This is not
Yeah.
good for me. It's not good for my children. Let's now talk about how you overcame. So let's
Ooh.
talk about that point where, what was the turning point that took you from like being so overwhelmed to overcoming? What was that point?
Well, you know what? So there were a couple of things that happened, but one of the best things that happened is in this last relationship that I was in, because for me, it was all about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a lover. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I say I was designed to be married. I was not designed to be single. A nun is not in my vocabulary. Okay. So I need to be in fellowship.
Right.
Okay. So, so this last relationship that I was in, that was my moment. That was my, yeah, Marissa, you got some work to do. Because I allowed myself, after going through what I went through, to get into a relationship with a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And a person that's narcissistic cannot love you because they love themselves so much.
Way more than they need to.
Right. And so, and it was from one bad decision to another. And in this relationship was off and on. But this last relationship, I was having a conversation. And again, this is my daughter. My baby girl is like, she's my little BFF, and I call her my mini BFF.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about life and decisions. And, I do journal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, she was like, Mom, you really kind of are awesome by yourself. You don't need to be in a
You better come on, Zay, and let her know. I'm sorry. Okay.
and so and so, she would constantly impart something to me. I was like, you're right. And she'll say, and he's not it. I mean, he's not
Ooh.
just not it. He's just not it.
Ooh.
Okay. And so then it came from her, and I'm like, okay, that's just my daughter. She likes me to be by myself because she wants my attention. I'm going to ignore her. See, that was when I wasn't paying attention.
Come
But
on.
then it
Come
in my
on.
mother, and it came in my daughter, and then
Mm.
it came in my oldest son, who, as long as mom is happy, he doesn't care. But he was like, nah, yeah, mom, that's not it.
Mm.
So I had to listen. And then when I sat down and I prayed about it, of course, I was journaling. And then when I
Mm-hmm.
started journaling, I ended up writing a letter, which I published in that book. And when I wrote that letter, it came from my heart. And that letter basically said, you're not it for me.
Ooh.
I can do this by myself. I was doing this out of fear, but you're not it for me.
Yeah.
So when I journal, I call it a stream of consciousness, when it's pen to paper and you just let your
Just,
hand
yeah,
move,
the free
and
flow.
so it comes with something. And in that stream of consciousness, I wrote that letter, dear boyfriend. And so that was like, okay, my relationship, that fellowship that I desire to be in, is not necessarily with a physical being. That relationship is with me.
Mm.
I need to love me
Mm,
and be okay with the me that I am without being attached to somebody else.
mm.
And it's taken a long time for me to get to this place. I'm getting misty. It's taken me a long time to get to this place because, I do desire to be a missus again because I do like, the man and wife, dynamics. I like to have a partner, but my relationship with me is more important because my relationship with me includes him.
Right,
That's my boyfriend.
right,
That's who's going to bring me everything that I need.
right.
And that's who's going to ensure that that person that walks in my door, my Adam, is going to be the man he fashioned just for
For
me.
you.
So
Exactly.
for me, so be in relationship. That was my thing. Be in relationship. And when I realized, wow, I am enough and I
Hmm.
can do this and I'm awesome, honey.
Hmm.
I started my blog. I wrote my book.
Hmm.
I got motivational speaking now underneath my belt. I'm moving in a direction where it's like I see stuff happening.
Yes.
Finally see me.
Yes. And you know I'm over here, your biggest cheerleader. Girl, you got this. Let me tell you what you need to do. Come on. Yes, I love, love, love that. And I think that, like when I was speaking to Anaya and I was talking about like the slyness of the enemy, he's so sly and cunning. And, those are the lies that he will feed you. So that's why you have to stay suited up. You have to keep your armor on. You have to consistently stay in that relationship, that place where you're always at Jesus' feet and you can feel his surrounding, around you. And if it ain't feeling like him, you gotta hold up. Something ain't right. Something's not right about this and listen to your intuition. I always tell people your gut is your God. Like your gut told you need to walk the other way. You better go and listen to it.
That's
But
right.
I think that it's so amazing how you had to realize it's not the person that makes you. You know what I'm saying? It's not having a spouse, now I'm enough. But you are enough before, after, in between those things. And like you said, first it came through Zay, and then it comes through, you're like, oh, she just saying she just want my attention to her, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, God speaks in the number 3. He will let you know. Then your mama came.
When that
Then
second
your
time
son.
came, I don't want to hear it no more. And then when my son, I'm
You
like,
were like,
okay,
all right, well, maybe.
just a little bit of truth.
Well, maybe. I guess I should be paying attention. So what you really trying to
Right.
say? So you don't think not even a piece, how we try to, still want to make it work for our benefit. He be like, girl, if you don't let this go,
Look,
you know.
I didn't blocked on every avenue. Where at first it was just like, oh well, I'll just put them on silent. No, I blocked everything because I was
Block. There's a
afraid
blessing
of
in the block. Yes, I
that's
tell people that all the time. There's a blessing in the block.
mm-hmm.
Oh, no, let me see. Some people are commenting, and I have not spoken y'all comments. I am so sorry because this is some goodness right here. Okay. Hey, Carolyn, thank you for joining. She's talking about, hey, girl. All right, so you are talking to me. That's Ladrika. Yes, I feel the same way. If I would have did this, that would not be going on right now. You're absolutely so. Ooh, I'm happy you said that. So seeing that part. Now listen, I'm gonna talk about her book because I think her book is phenomenal, and we're actually kind of discussing it because we're talking about finding her. In Marissa's book, she has this part at the end of every chapter where she's asking a question and getting you to journal, write it out so you can move forward. So it's kind of like therapy. Ladrika, that'll be good for you. You better go and buy her book, girl. I'm just saying. Okay. I got that out the way. You saw how I plugged that in. Hey, y'all. Let me see the other comments. This is really good. Thank you for being transparent. People are saying this is helping them. Okay, so I'm just reading a few. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. So that was actually really, really, really good. So, I like to do this thing with the teen girls where I ask them, like if you were to look back at yourself in the 6th grade versus, now you in the 12th, what would you tell her? And they learned a lot in them few years. But I really want to ask you, looking back over your journey, before we give the advice to your younger self, what has been your biggest aha moment or your biggest life lesson learned on this journey to finding her?
don't regret the journey.
Mm.
Embrace the journey,
Mm-hmm.
because that journey, that's where you find your greatest gifts.
Come
And
on.
your
Mm.
So that's the lesson that I would say is, don't regret your journey. Don't regret the bad parts,
Yeah.
because that's where you find your greatest treasure.
Yes, that is good. Yes, look, Ladrika said that. I love this. Preach, Queen Carolyn, talking about that's good. Dot 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 dot. Yes, it is. That was phenomenal. Do not regret the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Do not regret the journey, because you know the truth is there's a lesson in it all if you choose to see the lesson.
That's
Right?
right. That's
It's
right.
about your perspective.
There's a
Is it a woe
blessing.
is me? Or
Mm-hmm.
is it like, okay, so let me see what I needed to learn. What did I
Right.
learn? And what am I going to do differently going forward? Don't
That's right.
same behavior, right?
That's
I
right.
love that. I love that. Now, let's go into the advice to the younger self. So, you've been finding her, right? You not only experienced a bad marriage, but you found yourself going into these same negative relationships that were not serving you in a positive manner.
Mm-hmm.
What advice, now that you are looking in the mirror, you're not running away from them because
Uh-huh.
you love who you see?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the Marissa from, let's say, 10, 15 years ago?
Put that ice cream down. There is no healing in that ice cream, girl. Put it
I was not expecting that.
down. I would say. Meaning, find a healthier outlet to deal with it, because you're burying your pain the wrong way.
Yes.
But
They laughing, but yes.
that's the next book.
Yes.
Put that ice cream down.
Put the ice cream down. That is not the path to healing. That is not therapeutic.
No.
Let it go. Go get you some therapy.
Yes, it feel good today.
Oh,
But
God.
now, 10 years from now, you'll be
Listen,
like,
you
wow.
still gonna be trying to get the ice cream out from 15 years ago. Let it
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so before I wrap up, I always give the guests the opportunity to ask me a question. So I'm gonna give you that. But before I do, if anyone has any questions for Marissa, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. I know you all have been making lots of great comments talking about, yes, I love this. This is good. That's lovely. But if you have any questions for her, feel free to ask. Okay. Now, Marissa, do you have any questions for me?
I have a bunch of questions, but
Of
let me just
course you
ask.
do. Oh, Lord. Okay. Hold
What
on, hold
is
on, hold on, hold on. Let me see what they say. Yes, it's been intentional on the quest to know you really. You want to hear about my ice cream? No, I don't want to hear about your ice cream. We talk about that offline. They a mess. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
okay?
I can't with
So my
women.
question for you is, what made you decide to create a platform for the teens and the queens, and discussing these issues? What inspired you to do this?
My purpose. The easiest way to put it, like I've been knowing my purpose, and I know my purpose is to enrich and empower both queens and teens to know who they are in Christ and not the world. And any way I can do that, I'm going to do it. So I am huge on connecting with people. Most
Mm-hmm.
people who know me know I'm a social butterfly. I don't meet a distant friend. Hey girl, I bring her right on in. I'm that person, and my son is the same way. I talk about him, but he's really a mini version of me. But
Mm-hmm.
I am a person that loves to bring people in, wrap my arms around them, find out what's going on with them, and then see how I can help. And what I realized during that part is they're also helping me. So why not share this greatness with other people? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk to multiple people, I'm always saying, yeah, I had a friend, she said, and I'll quote them. So
Mm-hmm.
now let me create a platform where people can actually experience their genius in any way possible. So that's the real reason why, I knew my calling. God gave it to me. I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And then
Mm-hmm.
he just continues to give me different avenues. And the trick about that is when he gives it to you, know your season and step in it. Don't wait. you know, because just like he'll give you a great idea, I
Me?
don't know what you.
Was that directed to me?
Listen, I'm just saying, I'm not even trying. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Well, maybe it do.
You know.
But the truth is, when he gives it to you,
Right.
just do it. So many of us are waiting for steps 1 through 12 before we actually do something, or we say, okay, well, I'm going to start in January because we already toward the end of the year. Who said, why you can't start now? You know, like, I'm one of those people. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just jump. Let's see if he catches me. You know, so he told me to start this now, so I'm starting. And one thing I will not do is no longer wait. I've done that where I was disobedient.
Mm.
I know
I
what
love
that
it.
doesn't
Ain't
bring you.
true, because I posted this on my page. What I noticed, learned from you, is you were going to start doing these motivational Mondays,
Mhm.
and you got segued by Harvey
Mhm.
and stopped you. You went ahead
Mhm.
and did it anyway. You was like, "Psh, yeah, I don't have a
Yeah.
house. Okay, yes, the storm is going on. Yes, I got this baby I got to worry about. But you know what? Me, my baby, and the storm,
We
we gonna
keep
work
on
it out."
moving. Right. And the thing is, you know, I've had a lot of people share with me. They be like, it seemed like you don't never go through anything because you're always so happy. I was like, girl, the devil is a lie. I go through stuff every day. The difference
Come on it.
is
Mm-hmm.
that part. It's about
Yep,
how you choose to deal with it.
that's right.
And I'm not going to sit up here and say that I've always won those battles because there were plenty I didn't, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but I don't do well with sitting in the corner and crying about it. I know that much. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do something about it. And the one thing I know that makes the enemy more mad than anything else is me continuing.
Mm-hmm. You.
So, you know,
Yep.
like people saw, okay, so she had to be rescued, you know, from Harvey and she had a 2-month old. Oh my gosh, she's displaced. Oh my gosh, you know, that's so horrible. And she's still going on. But you also didn't know I had a crazy. You also didn't know that I was dealing with one of the most horrific.
Yeah.
Harvey ain't had nothing,
Mm.
absolutely nothing with the demon I was dealing with about you got to go and get out my life. I don't want nothing more to do with you. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um,
Had the
that was even big. That was way bigger than Harvey. The
yeah.
divorce you dragging on for no reason,
Yeah.
you know, just cause, you know, like those type of things. And I mean, all of the slanderous, ridiculous stuff that was made up about me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You didn't know that part, but I
Mm.
refused because I knew who I was. And
That's
God
right.
was reminding me, no, you're not that. You're this. Keep moving. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not going to address it. We don't negotiate with the devil. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. And so, you know, it may seem as if Harvey was horrible enough. No, Harvey ain't have jack squat on the other things that I dealt with. But even in the midst of that, I knew who my God was, and my God is still greater than anything the enemy tries to throw my way. And I know he's only throwing that stuff my way because of my purpose. I
Yeah.
am put here to impact others.
That's right. Know your purpose. I love that.
When you know it, you know, and when you have something as great as this, I mean, for you to think that the devil not gonna come at you is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
saying. They say, I love this. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so now as we wrap up, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you wanted to share or ask?
Not
The
right now.
floor is yours.
I'm gonna drop this little tidbit. We're gonna have to do this again.
Of course, yes, I think it's great, and we will, because we have plenty
Yes.
more to discuss. I already got
Yes.
another topic in mind, by the way. You know, y'all want to know how we met? That's a good conversation right there
That's a whole
for
nother
a
conversation.
whole nother queen talk.
Don't spill it yet.
A whole nother queen talk. All right, so before Marissa gives us her quotes or scripture, I want to remind you all that you can purchase her book on findingherreflection.com. That's also where her blog is. Please go and follow and support this queen. She is doing some phenomenal things. Her book is completely inspirational. Let me tell you, she had me all choked up. I was like, oh my God, girl, I didn't know. Jesus, but it's powerful because to see what she's come from and where she is today, and she's still standing and knowing who she is and being able to see her reflection in the mirror now versus, being afraid of it and being broken behind it, I think is just one of the most courageous, most beautiful tales ever. And it definitely inspired me. So I wanted to make sure that I share with you all. So please support. Go and purchase her book either on findingherreflection.com or on Amazon, as well as follow her blog and check her out on Instagram. All of the information, I know you see it on the screen right underneath her chin, okay? As well as I've put the links inside of the comments. And make sure you support her nonprofit as well, putawaycancer.org. And that's in there as well. PUTT, like when you're doing golf, just to make sure y'all understand. Yeah. All right. All right, Marissa, now share with us your quote or scripture that you stand on that reminds you the beauty in the reflection.
So my scripture, I have to read it. It's Philippians chapter 4.
Yeah.
I'm verses 8 through 13.
Okay.
I like that. But I'm just going to read for you verse 8. It says, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. I love that. I think that right there, that one scripture, all the way to 13 is beautiful, but that scripture right there is, okay, what I call whatever. Don't worry about anything if it does not fit into this box.
Yeah.
Okay. Because God is going to honor you when you focus your mind on those things that are of him. He will bless them and he will multiply them.
Yes.
So, right there that's everything.
Yes, y'all know I'm a runner. I just want to run around the room. That's so much greatness, so much greatness. Thank you so much, Marissa. This has been phenomenal. I see people are still joining. I don't know why it's started at 7. Y'all joining? Just go back and watch the replay because there was a lot of gems that were dropped, and I know it will truly bless your soul. And women, please make sure that you not only share this on your platforms, but also come back next week because every single Thursday at 7 p.m. we have a new queen discussing some different type of talk, and it's going to be phenomenal. I truly appreciate you, Marissa, for joining us. I appreciate you all for coming on. There's been lots of people via Facebook and YouTube. I'm looking on both. That's why I'm always looking everywhere. But I'm so grateful for you all supporting this. And Marissa, thank you so much for choosing to share your transparent journey as you find her.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all. Y'all have a great night. Bye.
Bye.
This was so good.